Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Following back at doing another interview. Today, a very special interview. You are probably the first player that is not a soccer player nor a basketball player that I'm interviewing in this short conference. So thank you. This is
Thanks for having me.
recently graduated from Colts Neck, Ava Metzger, right? I pronounced that right?
Yeah.
All right. Ava is a softball player from Colts Neck. They just finished a remarkable season that we're going to talk about a little later. And she also won Gatorade Player of the Year for New Jersey, which is a major accomplishment. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So with everything that happened to Colts Neck this season and her winning the award, I just wanted to get her on and talk to her for a little bit. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
First, we'll get started. How old were you when you started playing softball?
I think I was around 8 or 9 years old, so probably like fourth grade, maybe.
Fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to cover softball when I wrote for the newspaper, and some of those games could get a little long.
Yeah.
Especially if, through my years, I realized you just need one stud pitcher, and that could get your team all the way, through the regionals. And I followed those South Wall teams that made it. They made it to the Little League World Series. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it all comes from pitching, which is your position, correct?
Yeah, that's my position.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
I danced for a little bit, but other than that, I actually didn't.
So basically, softball was like first love, and that was
Yeah,
it.
I really fell in love with the sport.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 siblings. I have a younger sister and a younger brother.
Does she play softball too?
She used to, but she was good at it, but she just didn't have the passion and love for it like I did.
How about your brother? Does he play any sports?
My brother runs track.
Okay. Um, with things are so different from when I played sports, with AAU basketball, academy soccer. I'm not really, there was travel baseball when I was growing up. Um, but I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of traveling, a lot of training. How have your parents, helped you, along the way?
Yeah, my parents have made such a huge impact on my softball career. My dad always lugs me around to all my practices and all my games. And sometimes we even have to stay in hotels for the games and stuff. And he's really put in so much time and dedication. So I really have him to thank for it. And so is my mom. My mom has also been able to drive me to a lot of my practices and stuff. And it's really just about like sacrifice. And I really appreciate how much they've sacrificed for me.
So do you, I know it's a soccer term, but outside high school, you play for a club team. How does that work?
So with travel softball, it's basically like showcases. So college coaches will come and watch everyone play, and that's typically how we get recruited. No, not with Corona. It's more virtual recruiting.
Yeah.
But they'll come and watch you play, and then you'll have to go to camps and stuff in order to like talk to the coach in person.
Okay. So it's similar. So
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of traveling with that, going all over to these showcases and whatnot.
Yeah, it's so much traveling.
Um, Growing up, who did you have a role model growing up?
Um, Honestly, I just looked up to all the older like softball players, and if there was one in particular, you know, growing up, Oklahoma was like their like the team to be, and so I looked up to a lot of those girls and like hope to be like them someday.
UCLA was the team to beat when I was growing up for softball.
Yeah, and that they're back up there now.
Um, is there a particular player that you follow a lot, like more than or that you just love to watch?
Honestly, right now, JMU had a really great season this year. And their pitcher, Odyssey Alexander, is
Yep.
insane. Like, she's crazy to watch, and she's just so inspiring to like show that like JMU, yeah, they might not be as big of a school as all these SEC schools, but like she's just been such a huge role model to me and to a lot of other younger girls, and especially in the African American community, she's made such a huge impact.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, I probably haven't watched a college softball game in many years, and she got me watching. I was watching
Yeah.
JMU, Oklahoma, and she made a big impression because they gave her a standing ovation her last game when she came walking off the field at Oklahoma. That's saying
Mhm.
a lot for what she's done for the sport, which is great. Um, I was looking at the Olympic team. I couldn't what's her last name from Washington? I the
Um,
pitcher. I couldn't believe she's still playing because
oh,
she was
Cat
playing one.
Osterman.
Yeah, she. I mean, she's been
Yeah.
around for a while. I couldn't believe
Yeah,
she
she's
was
been
on the team.
around for a while.
Next, I was wondering if like Jenny Fitch was going to be on the roster.
Yeah.
um, let's switch over to high school. You went to Colts Neck. Did you set any goals? Your incoming freshman. Did you set any goals for yourself? It could be academically, and for softball.
Academically, my goal was to get a 4.0 GPA or higher, which I was able to do my freshman year. And then for athletics, my goal was just to make varsity as a freshman. I didn't really have the bar set too high for me yet, just because I was so young and so immature to like understand like high school yet. So that was my main goal, was to just make varsity.
I know it could be overwhelming, for a freshman, that makes varsity. Were there any upperclassmen on that team that were able to help you, guide you through it if you had like questions or if you were nervous about anything?
So I didn't have the best experience being an underclassman on the team. Some of the girls had some jealousy that I was able to start over them, and it just wasn't a fun experience. So I wanted to make sure that my senior year, and unfortunately last year was cut short, but I wanted to make sure I set a good role model because our team was so young. I wanted to set a good role model for the younger girls and be able to make them comfortable around me. And that way they could come to me with any questions, which unfortunately I didn't have my freshman year.
That's good. That says a lot about the culture, that was
Mhm.
going on there. And one of my, I guess I could ask this now. Was it difficult? Because when I was doing the research, for the Colts next softball, you went through 3 coaches in 3 seasons. Is that correct? That had to be
Yeah.
difficult. Was you think that going through the coaches like that, it had some reason why the culture might have been like that when you were a freshman?
I think so. Yeah, they were able to walk a little all over some of the coaches, but fortunately, Icello, our head coach, Coach Icello, has been with our senior class since our freshman year,
Okay.
not as the head coach, but
But
he was the assistant coach, and then he was the assistant coach again sophomore year and was going to be the assistant our junior year. And he's always talked to us about changing the culture on the team and making sure it's like a better environment. And like honestly, being able to change the culture, I think, is what's gotten us so far, like being able to be such a tight-knit group of girls.
yeah, that's big, not just in softball, every sport, you can't have any like hostility or drama going on. It could, I've seen it happen in basketball with some of the top teams, derails their whole season.
Yeah.
Moving to your sophomore season, what were some things that you were hoping to improve on from your freshman year?
So one of the things was definitely like getting along with the girls. That was definitely one of them. I wanted a better high school experience sports wise. And then another goal was just to start like making my name known in the softball community within high school. So whether it was making like short conference teams or the all state teams, group teams, which I was able to do because I think I got like third team group or something like that. So my name was out there, but not everyone like knew it yet.
Yeah, I was looking at some of your stats. You had a pretty good, sophomore season, stat wise. So I mean that I usually ask that question for junior year, because in soccer and basketball I see the biggest jump in improvement from players is from sophomore year to junior year. But unfortunately, you did not have a junior season. How did that affect you? Mentally. Because I know at first they were pushing it back, and then all of a sudden they decide, hey, we're not going to have a spring season because of COVID. How did that affect you?
Yeah, so we were all really upset. I think our team would have been pretty good my junior year too, maybe not as good as this year, but we would have definitely had a shot at winning some more championships. But that honestly just pushed me harder to like, I was working out every single day, making sure I was keeping up with pitching and hitting just to make sure I was ready for, even though it was a year out, just to make sure I was ready for the season, but also ready for the travel season and just preparing myself.
Now, moving to this great season that your team had, you pretty much answered already why you think everything came together. More of a tight knit group, and more like family atmosphere. Let's talk the short conference finals against Donovan. I actually tried to get to that game, but my work schedule didn't permit it. And I think it was rain, right? It was pushed back a day, wasn't it? Pushed back?
It was pushed back. I think like 2 days because it poured. But since it was turf, the field was okay to play on.
Donovan's usually, one of the top teams around. So first, making it all the way to the short conference finals is an accomplishment itself. And it was what was it, 3-2? Was it 3-2 that game?
Yeah, it was 3-2. So it was a pretty close game.
So just talk that game a little, and playing in such an exciting game, and what it meant just, bringing Colts Neck, to the finals.
Yeah, so that was our first ever big game because that was our first championship the school's ever even been in for any sort of groups or short conference, obviously. Mm-hmm. So the girls were very excited. We played very loose and relaxed. The national anthem wouldn't play during the game, so our team actually sung it during. So everyone was super relaxed, and that's what really helped us. The first inning we got the 2 runs, and then after that we just couldn't put together the timely hitting, unfortunately. But being able public school to go up against a stacked private school like that, and for the score to be so close, you can't hang your head down after that type of loss.
Yeah, especially, the season your team had. Unfortunately, we'll get to, the TOC after. I just want to talk, you girls pretty much, you ran through your sectional you didn't have any really close games in the sectional, did you?
The one close game we had was Allentown until the 6th inning. I think it was a 1. They were winning, I think, by 1 or a 0-0 game, but we were able to string together 4 runs in order to win that one.
Now, how did it feel? You win your sectional, which is a major accomplishment, and then you move on, and you semifinals, and then you end up winning Group 3. How does it feel? First softball team. I'm guessing the way you're talking, the first Colts Neck team to win a state title, in a group. So how did that feel?
Yeah, it felt amazing. Being able, all of our teams, basketball, soccer, lacrosse, everyone has a banner in that gym except us. So we were determined to at least put up 1, and now being able to put up 4 or 5 in a single season is unheard of. So all the girls are super excited, and honestly, it still hasn't hit me yet that we won all this type of stuff because it's just so surreal, and I never thought in a million years that we would make it that far.
Yeah, that's a major accomplishment, and the fact that softball does a tournament of champions. How did it feel? Unfortunately, you lost to Livingston, the first game. But how did it feel just being a part of such an elite, group of teams playing?
Yeah, it felt great. It was really humbling to know that you were one of those top teams in the state. Yeah, they put it in the newspaper all the time, but in order to make it there, you have to perform like a top team in the state. So it felt really great just to even be there.
Do you think? Now, I was looking at your schedule, and you played a ton of games in a short span between, states and then the Monmouth County tournament. Do you think the team just ran out of gas against Livingston? Because, there was a bunch of days you were playing back to back, and then, just one day off in between. Do you think maybe that might have been a little bit of the case?
Yeah, I think we ran out of fuel. We only had 1 pitcher, so it's pretty hard to win TOC with 1 pitcher. And being a public school, you don't have that roster to be stacked. We can't really recruit anyone. So we definitely did run out of steam.
Yeah. Any pitchers coming up in Colts Neck?
Not that I know of. I'm not sure. I'm not from Colts Neck, so I wouldn't know.
Where are you from?
I'm from Howell, but we're
Okay.
just districted. We're
Yeah,
districted
no,
there.
I'm a Howell kid, so I know how
Yeah.
that you're at Howell kids at Freehold, Howell kids at Colts
Yeah, you're
Neck,
everywhere.
and it seems like the best athletes end up going to either Colts Neck or Freehold out of Howell or
Yeah.
distributed. Um, Colts Neck, they had that really good baseball player. Was it 2 seasons ago? 3 seasons ago?
Um,
I
yeah,
don't know.
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think I was told he's a Howell kid. I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody said he was a Howell kid too. Um, so end of the season, well, actually, wasn't the season even end yet, right? When you found out you won Gatorade Player of the Year in New Jersey.
Yeah, that was the day of the Group 3 state final.
So that is a double exciting day. You win the state
Yeah.
title, and then how did you feel when you first of all, since you're probably the first and maybe the only Gatorade Player of the Year I ever interviewed. How do you find out that you won?
So I was actually sitting in my kitchen with my parents, and all of a sudden my mom was looking at her phone, and she like called my dad over and started crying. And I was like, oh no, like what happened? Like, oh, it must be something really bad. And then she showed me the email, and we were in so much shock because it's such an honor just to even be nominated for
Yeah.
it, yet alone win it. So it was really crazy. Like I feel so humbled and like to have it, but I still like it doesn't feel real still to me, like because I'm just so humble about it, and I'm really humble about any sort of award I get. So it just feels it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Last year, Emily Mason, a soccer player from Hunterdon Central, she won Gatorade National Player of the Year for soccer, and I believe one of the U.S. women's national team members called her to tell her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now you kind of touched on this at the beginning with, you wanted to make make the freshmen more comfortable, but any other things that you were hoping to pass down to the underclassmen, as being the senior leader of the team?
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to pass down like a sort of confidence down to the younger team. I mean, to the younger girls. Our team was very young. There's only 4 seniors, I think
Okay.
1 junior, and 4 sophomores and 1 freshman. So it really was like a young underclassmen team. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to, my confidence was always up in order for their confidence to be up. And then also, I just wanted to make sure that, everyone was comfortable with each other. And in the end, everyone did really love each other. I've never been with such a close knit of girls, especially for a high school team. Normally there's a lot of jealousy of people not playing or people getting more time over others, but everyone was always so happy for each other. And when someone would get a hit, like, and if someone weren't doing too well, like they'd be lifting them up. It was just a great environment to be around.
It's funny you say that, you're at a public school, but a coach that I'm close with just got let go because parents complained their kid didn't play enough. And
Yeah.
this is high school. You play to win.
Yep.
It's not rec. Um, you up for some rapid fire questions before we
Yeah.
wrap up? What's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show is probably Grey's Anatomy.
Do you know I just started watching that about
I
a
know,
month
I've
ago?
watched it like twice now.
Oh,
It's ridiculous.
that's a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
I'm on season 7 right now. I'm like halfway through season 7, so I mean, I
Oh,
got
so
I got a long
good.
way to go, but
Yeah, I have 10 more.
yeah, I can't believe like that show's been on like longer than some of the girls I have on for interviews, and they say that's their favorite show.
Yeah, I
So,
know. I
right.
know.
How about a favorite movie?
My favorite movie is either Pitch Perfect or The Hunger Games.
Okay, I'm a big Anna Kendrick fan, so.
Yeah, I love her.
How favorite school subject?
My favorite school subject. I personally like psychology. I know it's not like a English, math, or whatever, but that was definitely my favorite class I took in my high school career.
How about a favorite number?
My favorite number is 21.
What is something you enjoy doing in your free time when you're not playing softball?
So since we live like 20 minutes from the beach, that's where I spend most of my summer. I spend a lot of time at the beach, or I like to hang out with friends, just, make memories.
I just got back from Wildwood.
I know.
No, Wildwood's the best.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been, but
It's so much. It's you know why it's not as crowded. The beaches
Yeah.
are like double the size of the beaches up here, so you're not crammed. So and it was pretty busy down there, the fourth and the fifth, and you
Mhm.
still when you're on the beach, you don't even doesn't even seem it because it's like you got to walk like it seems like a mile till you get to the water just on the beach. So
Yeah.
um, let's talk your future a little bit now. You're going to Manhattan University. What were the things that attracted you to that school?
So at first I was really I did a camp there the first time I visited it, and I was really mad that my dad signed me up because I was very blatantly obvious that I did not want to go to a city school. And when I actually like walked around campus, it's so weird because it's like you're in your own little like town, but like you could take a train like 10 minutes away to go to the city. So that was definitely like a huge factor of why I wanted to go, because there's just so many opportunities and so many like fun stuff to do around. I didn't want to be stuck in the middle of nowhere anymore.
That's good. A funny story when I was I 15 when the Yankees won the World Series like the first time in the 90s, and my mom took me to the parade, and I was just like baffled that these kids were taking public school buses, public transportation to get to school. I wanted to go to
Yeah.
school in the city. I thought it was
Yeah.
the coolest thing. Growing up in New Jersey, I didn't know that. I thought it was the coolest thing taking public transportation to school for some
I
reason.
know.
Um, how you like the coaching staff there?
Oh, I love my coach. She's the best. She's so awesome. She's so supportive of everything that you have going on.
That's great. Do you know what you plan on studying?
So right now I'm going in as an elementary ed major, and I'm minoring in psych to possibly go back to grad school to do speech pathology.
Oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's impressive.
Thanks.
My sister majored in psych. Um, so what do you want to do after college?
After college, I definitely still want to be involved in the softball community. I think I want to either coach or give lessons for a while, and then settle down and start a real job eventually. But yeah.
Training, that's where the money is in all these sports. I think
Yeah,
it's
it is.
more than coaching. Last question, and I'll let you go. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would just tell my younger self to really work hard, because I used to always get so down about myself that I put in all this time and effort and I missed out on so many other memories and with like friends and school friends, and they don't understand how much like you do actually miss. And I think I would tell my younger self that it's really all worth it in the end, because here I am going to college in order to play, it's paying for my school, and I'm not going to be in debt as much like other kids. So it really does pay off.
Yeah, I give all the kids, your age, you got to either decide, either put your focus, either enjoy being a teenager, you work hard, and the long term, it pays off more. So
Yeah.
so Ava, I appreciate you, taking time out today and joining me for this interview. I wish you luck next season in Manhattan.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me.
No problem. Colts Neck, they had a pretty good spring with track and field too, right?
Yeah, actually, I think one of the track girls won Gatorade, like track Gatorade player
I think
too. Lily Shakira.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. Unfortunately, track doesn't get a lot of publicity on Twitter. That's where I get all my
No.
information. But your athletic director does a very good job recognizing everybody in that school. I've talked to him
Yeah, he's the best.
couple times, and yeah, he does an outstanding job there. And you can see all the programs. Overall, girls soccer had a good season. Girls basketball had a good season. It's good to see. Public schools doing good, and not all the private schools getting all the. Even though I'm a
I
private school
know.
guy, I got my St. Rose hat on. I'm a private school guy, but I pull more and more for the public schools as I get older.
Yeah, he does such a great job. He really does. I love him.
Yeah, like I'll reach out to him for a player, and he gets me their information within a day.
Yeah.
I always either I go through the coach or I ask Coach Hine,
Mhm.
to get me your information. First I want to make sure the player wants to do the interview before they
Yeah.
get me the information, and then, but yeah, I like just getting to know these players. And let the people get to know you players off the field, because there's not much publicity for girls sports around here. So
Yeah, there really isn't.
I actually told a public school coach, I was interviewing you, and she's like, "It's about time softball got some
I
recognition."
know.
So maybe I'll be doing more, but I do soccer, basketball because those were my sports. I coached soccer for so many years, and I played basketball.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining me, and I wish you luck through college, and I'll be following along.
Thank you so much.
No problem.